Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orden, and it's been a while since my last video, so I thought I would catch you up to speed. I'm in the middle of a really fascinating experiment related to fitness and engagement, and it's surprising the hell out of me, and I don't quite know how to talk about it yet, which is why I'm not pumping out videos. Because I'm allowing myself to be in a state or environment of uncertainty. I'm trying a lot of stuff and I don't quite know where it's going yet, but it looks promising. So to cut to the chase, when I made the video in early May on my birthday, I was a few weeks past finishing a quite successful cross-country season and was just starting to transition into summer training for skiing, roller skiing, hiking, elliptical, all my other experimental movement methodologies. And it was kind of in the beginning phase, like how does this transition for me? Am I going to be as motivated to train off of snow, what they call dryland training, as I was to train on snow? There's something about being in the woods, in the snow, in Vermont in the winter that just does something to me. It's special. And am I going to have that same experience out on roller skis on pavement with poles that are constantly making loud, sharp clicking noises when they hit the pavement, the rocks? And the answer is, I can't get enough. I love roller skiing. I roller skied a bit in high school and a bit in college, and I hated it. I never looked forward to it. I never wanted to do it. I only did it because the team was doing it. It's dangerous. It's very easy to fall, and when you do fall, you lose a lot of flesh and you can break bones. Whereas falling on snow, you're likely to have a softer impact. But roller skiing is pretty scary. And this is Vermont. The roads are very hilly, so I'm often going in excess of 20 miles an hour downhill on these much shorter skis, so you don't have the same balance point. And there's rocks, and there's sticks, and there's wet spots, and you get flat tires, and you never know when you're going to go down. So anyway, I'm in love with roller skiing, and that just was something I didn't expect. So how this relates to you and what you might get out of watching this video. My training is still pretty consistently 2 to 3 hours a day. And I've been going at that rate since the beginning of January. Right now, I'm pushing the mid 400s for hours. So I've got about 425 hours so far this year, which means I'm on pace to hit 900 to 950 hours if I continue at this training volume. And that's pretty extraordinary. And I wasn't sure if I could keep this level of engagement going. So I want to talk about that process. I want to talk about how I'm doing this, because we've been having a heat wave here in Vermont, and I think a lot of parts of the country. And there have been quite a few days where it's been high 80s, low 90s, and 80+% humidity, and it's pretty brutal outside. And I've been out there skiing and doing other things in that weather. So one of the things that I want to emphasize about this is that I don't have a plan. I don't have it written down anywhere that I need to train 2 hours, 2.5 hours, or 3 hours, or that it needs to be roller skiing, elliptical, my Bigfoot light on the treadmill. None of that is written down. What I'm simply doing is allowing myself to interact with a particular movement pattern. Like I'm in the studio doing some work, and I recognize that I've been sitting too long. So I say to myself, okay, it's time to shift. Now, what am I going to shift into? I don't know. So I look over here to my right, and there's a pair of shorts and a t-shirt over there waiting for me to get on the elliptical machine. And there's also a pair of ski boots and socks over there to go roller skiing. So I point myself in that direction, And whatever clothing option seems to pull me slightly more than the other is the activity that I engage in. Now, there will be times when I look at the weather and it's like, okay, I have a 2-hour block without rain, so I think I should nudge myself towards roller skiing before it starts raining, and then once the rain comes, then I can hop on the elliptical or on the treadmill. But I'm not really coaching or planning any of these activities. I'm letting them evolve. And what I'm really consciously engaging in is just a nudge, okay? I've been sitting too long. I look over there, shorts and a t-shirt, socks and ski boots. Which one seems to grab me? And more often than not, it's the socks and the ski boots. And I find that fascinating. I look over there and it's like, yeah, I want to go skiing. So I put them on and I go outside. Where am I going to go? I don't know. I let the traffic nudge me. It's best to ski on roads that don't have a lot of traffic. So when I leave the mill, I always turn right because there's no traffic going right. And then I take another right because there's less traffic that way. And I let cars push me in the direction of my route. And I usually end up in a place where there's very few cars, do my ski, and then I let myself get nudged back towards the studio again, being pushed by cars. If there's cars in one area, my body doesn't want to go where the cars are, so I look for the option with fewer cars. And how long am I going to be out there? I don't know. But my body seems to want to be out there for an hour to an hour and 45 minutes. And I just let that happen. I let the ski happen. Same with the elliptical machine. Sometimes it's half an hour that I get on there. But if I happen to be watching a ski race, I get really, really engaged. I get in the race with the people. I'm very much emotionally connected with the race experience that they're having. And it's often 2 hours. Then I'll go home, and after dinner, I don't like being on a computer at night. It kind of steals my energy from me. So after dinner, I often hop on the treadmill at home, put it at a 10% incline, and do my Bigfoot light, which is kind of not quite a half lunge, which is my Bigfoot walk, which is like you're in a half lunge position the whole time. Your head stays perfectly level. A Bigfoot light is maybe 70% of that lunge depth, very much focused on a long push out the back to engage the glutes, the hamstrings, and the calves. Again, trying to keep your head somewhat level as you go. So your hip flexors and your glutes are doing most of the work. And I let that evolve. I don't ever tell myself I have to be on a treadmill for a certain amount of time. People could look at what I'm doing right now. Like, he's training pretty consistently 17 to 18 hours a week on average. And he's been doing that since the beginning of January, and now it's halfway through June, and he's still with that. So, wow, he must be really disciplined, or he must be really committed, really motivated, and I'm none of those things. That's the really fascinating thing about this experiment. I don't ever wake up feeling like I have to do anything. There's never anything on my calendar. There's never a goal that I need to hit. There's never, okay, I got to go out and ski 20 miles today. No, I just wake up and slowly put myself in gear and allow myself to be nudged in particular directions. Like, I get to the studio, and at some point I'm going to feel like moving is better than sitting, and at that moment I move into something. Not because I have to exercise, not because I have to train, not because I have a race on the calendar, but simply because in that moment I recognize sitting is not feeling good and it's going to get worse. Movement will feel better. So it's just this tiny little tip based on the fact that sitting is starting to feel not so good. How do I improve that feeling? I think movement. I think standing up, for one, moving over here, and then seeing what it is that appeals to me and what's calling to me. And then go through my little steps, putting my socks on, putting the ski boots on or the shoes that I have on the elliptical, being very deliberate and sensual as I tie the laces. Like the whole process is very mindful and sensual and slow. And I love it. I love putting on my elliptical shoes. I love putting on my ski boots. Like it feels good. I allow that to be a self-contained moment. Anyway, I wasn't sure how far I could go with that approach. Like, how long can I keep up this volume without a plan, without a goal, and without motivation? And the answer is, this is the easiest training block that I've ever had. When I've had training plans in the past, when I was trying to hit really high volume, like when I did the US 50K championships, and I was running 120 miles a week, man, it was tough to keep myself going. It was really tough to engage because I knew what was waiting for me every day. But now there's nothing waiting. And because there's nothing waiting, there's no pressure. And because there's no pressure, I never look at the ski boots and think, oh my God, those ski boots represent 20 miles in 90 degrees and humid. No, I just look at the ski boots and I'm like, ooh, ski boots, fun to put those on. And I just make it this iterative process, one step at a time, enjoying each one. And then the same thing once I'm out there skiing. I never think about, oh my God, I've got 19 miles to go and it's hot already. No, I'm just engaged in my technique, constantly engaged in my technique, working on my form. Where are my feet? Where are my hands? Where are my wrists? Where's my core? Where are my shoulders? Where's my center of mass? Like, I'm mindful and present for probably like 75% of my ski. And when I'm on the elliptical, I'm present to the race that I'm watching. I've really kind of phased movies out. I'm much more interested in watching people race. There's something that just, it pulls me in, and I'm in that experience with them, and I love it. I look forward to it. So again, I'm training more than I ever have in my life by far. Totally unmotivated. I'm in the midst of a pretty serious depression because there's a lot of other stuff going on in my life, a lot of complications in other areas. And normally I wouldn't train at all. But training is not a problem. In fact, it's the antidote to many of those feelings, many of those situations. Like when I start to feel stuck and I sit and I'm thinking and I'm ruminating, it's like, oh, get up and move. And then I get up and move and I feel fantastic. It goes away. And not only does it go away, the negative rumination, but I often come up with useful and effective solutions to the problems that I need to be confronting at my family's farm, because there's a lot that needs to be done there, and nobody's quite sure how to get it done because it's an old house that needs a lot of work. So movement is helping me address those challenges more effectively. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. But just to let you know that I don't want to conclude that what I'm doing right now is the best thing to do. I don't know yet. And I don't want to tell people that my Bigfoot Light or my Bigfoot Stride, these are the absolute best ways to get really fast as a runner. I don't know if that's true yet, so I'm hesitant to put those videos up because I don't want to be the guy that says, like I used to, a raw food diet will change your life and suddenly everything will be healed and you'll have this amazing body and fitness. And yeah, a lot of people get a lot of benefits, but it's not something I want to say with absolute certainty anymore. So I'm still experimenting with these strategies and these methods. And I don't know what the end result is going to be. We'll find out. I'm doing a roller ski race July 11th. I've never done a roller ski race before. But I've been hitting a lot of Strava segments that I've been finding. And I'm getting a lot of course records. So I want to find out, like, how fit am I? How fast am I? How do I compare to elite skiers? So this race I'm doing, is in Craftsbury, Vermont. So you're going to get a lot of the U.S. team and U.S. development team are going to be there at this race. So I'll get to compete against them and see how I stack up as an old man. I've already been on some segments that they train on. So I know my training pace is as fast as their training pace. I have no idea about racing pace yet, but we'll see. So again, I'm in the middle of an experiment. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how long I can keep this up. I don't know how long I want to keep this up. But so far, it's the easiest thing in the world to train at this volume and to get a lot of work done at the same time. At least in some areas. In other areas, like writing, I'm struggling because the topics I'm working with are pretty complex. So anyway, that's the update for now. I'm going to try to engage with the camera more frequently in the space of I don't know how to talk about this, and maybe I'll find a way to talk about it in the midst of not knowing how, like I did today. Okay, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, what you're trying. And if you're stuck, if you've tried an approach like this, it's incredibly effective for me at this moment. So if you want to hear more about that, I'm happy to share. Okay, I'll see you soon.